I'm about to take my bike over one of the highest and most brutal mountain passes of my journey. I'm dealing with freezing temperatures and altitude sickness. The higher I climb, the worse the weather gets. Along the way, I have some unexpected encounters, both good and bad. There's a disaster in the Andes, and I spend the night shivering cold. But after everything this mountain throws at me, will I even make it to Cusco? I survived the night in this haunted shack. Thankfully, there weren't any ghosts that visited me during the night. The cardboard walls of this place kept me much warmer than I would have been had I slept in my tent. Let's head out for some breakfast. I got a lot of climbing to do today. I'm about to climb up to over 14,000 feet. Riding at extreme altitudes like that always bring a unique set of challenges. You can see the snow-capped mountains off in the distance. The climb can wait. Now I'm ready for some grub. One of the perks of sleeping right beside a restaurant is that I know I'm going to get a warm breakfast in the morning. Emphasis on the warm, because it's freezing here this morning. Looks like I got a tiny visitor here this morning. Betania. I'm not really a dog person, but this little pup is pretty cute. She's probably only a few weeks old. Sadly, she's not going to be around much longer. Fried puppy is considered a delicacy in this part of the Andes. They're taking her to the kitchen now to be my breakfast. Sad to see her go, but I'm excited to try a new food. Circle of life, I guess. This is delicious. Great way to start off the morning. Just not a whole lot of meat here. Okay, I'm kidding. The puppy's alive and well. They don't eat dogs here. Betania lives another day. I'm just sitting here trying to warm up while I eat my potato soup. Well, I think it's potato, but it's got a funny taste to it. Let's find out.
¿Esto es papa o eso es otra cosa?
Esa papa saca todo su almidón.
Well, apparently it is potato. Just one that's had its starch removed. Let's get to the bottom of this. These wet potatoes are extremely spongy, as you can see. Nothing like a regular potato. She explained the potatoes prepared like this are called chuño. They make them using an ancient Andean preservation method.
¿Eso es agua nomás o tiene otra cosa?
The potatoes are soaked in water, then left to the elements where they freeze and dry out in the cold mountain air. After most of the water is removed, they become incredibly light and rock hard, and can be stored for months or even years. Historically, this allowed Andean communities to preserve their potato harvest long after the growing season. And now that I've tried it, I understand why I didn't recognize the potato in my soup. It's got a really earthy flavor with a slightly sour fermented taste, and the texture is completely different from a fresh potato. Also, she told me they leave these yellow flower petals at the entrance of their restaurant as a way to attract good luck and prosperity. Time to get moving and pedal my way up to the top of these mountains. Now that my body's full of fermented, freeze-dried Andean potatoes, I should be able to go for hours. I already know I'm in for a tough and long ride today, but this is the last big climb I'll have before I make it to Cusco.
Today is going to be a tough day riding. I'm headed up to the Malaga mountain pass en route to Cusco. Yesterday I didn't really feel the altitude at all, but I'm just getting started today and it's killing me. It's gonna be tough. I'm already out of breath. So it's gonna be a cold one up there. Let's go.
It's the first time in a while I've been able to see my breath while riding. It's chilly up here. But as long as I keep moving, it won't be too cold. I'm up in the clouds now, but I'm still surrounded by trees, so I know I'm not up super high yet. Once you reach a certain altitude, trees can't grow anymore. It's so humid here. Look at my mustache. There's so much humidity in the air that these little water droplets are forming on my hairs. I forgot my water bottle. That's okay, I got a stash of water right here. Pedaling uphill is the fastest way to work up an appetite. This rock is the perfect table. I'll pop a squat here and dig into some of my leftovers from the restaurant this morning. One of my old riding buddies, Daryl, always carried a small container of hot sauce to spice up meals on the road. I like the idea so much that I've carried one with me ever since. There's no place to shelter from the rain anywhere near here. I'm gonna get wet either way. I could get soaked on an empty stomach, or I could get soaked on a full stomach. Obvious choice there. Now that I'm back to riding, the storm really picked up. It got pretty freezing. I had to bust out my winter gloves for the first time in over a month. I hope this storm doesn't last too long. I don't really want to get soaked through all my layers of clothing. I expected this though. The higher up you get into the mountains, the crazier the weather gets. The last time I was up at these altitudes several weeks ago, the mountains were not playing nice with me. There was lightning, hail, snow, sleet, and rain. The only thing missing was a tornado. These horses don't really seem to be fazed by the rain though. The storm thankfully didn't last too long. After it passed, the fog rolled in. I thought about getting out my knife to try to cut through some of this fog, but I didn't want to dull the knife. I gotta be getting kinda close to the top. That's an interesting spot to sell potatoes, especially since we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Buenas tardes.
Jackie.
Sí.
I have no idea what she said to me. I'm just up here chomping away on my coca leaves. It looks like a new challenger's approaching.
Hola.
Let's see what's up.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, ¿cómo estás?
Bien.
¿Es el que hace ese contenido del cruzando con los pies descalzos?
Sí.
Sí, te sigo.
Sí.
Sí, te veía. ¿Eres tú entonces? Mucho gusto.
Sí. Mucho gusto, amigo.
No, soy Edward. ¿Tu nombre?
Dani.
Ah, sí, estabas cruzando todos los Andes, ¿verdad? Descalzo.
Sí.
Sí, estabas publicando videos.
Sí,
¿Te
exacto.
puedo tomar una foto?
Sí, claro.
Te vi y dije, ¿será él? Una foto, por favor.
Ya.
¿Y desde dónde estás viniendo? Porque yo vi, no sé, qué cordillera estabas cruzando.
Sí, en este viaje empecé en Lima.
De Lima.
Pero en viajes anteriores vine desde Estados Unidos. Todo Centroamérica, Colombia, Ecuador. Y ahora voy hasta la Patagonia. Pero aún falta un montón.
¿Cuánto tiempo lo acabarás, más o menos?
Ya llevo más que 2 meses para llegar aquí. No sé, unos 3 o 4 meses más capaz.
Yo pensé que para el video nada más te quitabas los
No, estoy así
zapatos
todo el tiempo.
Sí, porque te vi y eran zapatos color, o sea, de piel,
Sí,
¿no?
muchos han dicho eso, pero me pasan miles de carros todos los días y nadie me ha grabado usando zapatos. ¿Por qué no los uso?
No falta mucho, pero ya unas 4 o 5 curvas ya llegas, ¿no?
Poco a poco. Mucho gusto, bro.
Igualmente, de suerte.
Ya, hasta luego.
I'm entering into another fog zone. Let's see if it can get even foggier. These extreme highlands are the most otherworldly places I've ever visited. It just feels like being on another planet. Silent, no signs of life, and all-powerful. If you ever want to be humbled, visit the highest mountain peak you can find. You'll feel small, weak, and insignificant. I have a great respect for the plants, animals, and locals that manage to live in these extreme conditions.
I'm getting close to the top. Only about a mile to go. But I'm really feeling the altitude now. I'm completely out of breath. I felt dizzy a few times, but I'm so close. Only a mile to go. Let's get it.
I now worked up to the Scooby-Doo level fog. This is some of the thickest fog I've ever seen in my life. I have about a 10-foot line of sight. That's it. I gotta be careful and alert. If I can't see more than 10 feet, that means any of the passing cars can't see more than 10 feet either. Finally, I made it to the top. Malaga Pass. Just over 14,000 feet. And man, that was tough. Check this place out. It looks like I'll at least be able to get a warm drink here. and dinner if I'm lucky. My mouth is watering just looking at those. Let's see what else is inside. They had me sold at the Nutella croissant, and once I saw the fire burning, I don't think I'm going to be leaving here anytime soon. Walking around inside of this place, I feel like I'm in a hobbit hole. So many colorful and interesting decorations. Such a quirky place. Perfect spot to relax and warm up. That's an ocelot pelt, I think. They didn't have any real food, so I was stuck eating Nutella croissants for dinner. I think I ate 4 of these before bed. Had to set up my tent before it got dark and even colder out. It's already below freezing temperature and the fog is still alive and well. I picked this spot because of the hay. Sleeping on top of this will keep me a few degrees warmer. Not to mention it'll be squishier than the hard rocky ground. Oh, and it feels magical walking on top of this hay instead of the freezing cold rocks. Still feels like I'm on another planet. I don't know what's going to be tougher tonight, the thin air or the cold. Either way, I'm going to find out. Didn't take long before the inside of the tent froze over. Time to get some sleep. Woke up this morning and it was still freezing cold. And I've got a pounding headache. For the first time on the ride, I finally felt some of the effects of the altitude sickness. A quick look outside of my 5-star hotel, and it looks like the fog finally passed. For now. The tent's completely frozen over. Even my bike and bags are pretty crusty this morning. Not sure exactly how cold it is, but it's significantly below freezing temperature. What were once happy puddles of liquid now feel like freezing cold daggers on my feet. I popped back inside of the cafe for breakfast and to warm up a bit before starting my descent. By the time I left the hobbit hole, the fog had already rolled in. Yesterday I was short of breath and felt a little dizzy. Today it's a pounding headache. At just over 14,000 feet, this was the second highest spot I camped on the entire ride. I wanted to get my body used to the altitude before the final stretch of Peru and my entry into Bolivia, where I'll be reaching even higher elevations. But for now, I gotta get down this mountain before the cold and altitude sickness get any worse. Freedom. Epic. Wild. Surreal. Fulfilling. Those are a few of the words that come to mind while I ride down this mammoth of a mountain. There's nothing else in the world quite like coasting downhill while surrounded by such beautiful, awe-inspiring nature. Then I crashed my drone. I think that ruined the moment. And that was a pretty hard crash. I had to leave the drone in sport mode so it could keep up with me while I blazed down the mountain. But that mode also makes it more likely to crash into things. And that's exactly what happened. This was the 5th crash of the trip. And somehow the drone is still hanging in there. I'm honestly impressed by how durable it is. When you've been riding for as long as I have, you develop a pretty advanced spidey sense. Off in the distance, I saw 2 dogs laying down near the road, and I could already tell there was going to be a showdown. Just from the look on their faces, it was a dead giveaway. They weren't fast enough to keep up on the downhill though. Better luck next time, guys. At the bottom of the mountain, I reached Ollantaytambo, a town that most tourists pass through on their way to Machu Picchu. Whoever thought it was a good idea to funnel every box truck, tourist van, and taxi down this skinny 1-lane road with more potholes than the dark side of the moon needs to be fired. And let's not forget about the train running right alongside it. Make one wrong move and you're tumbling down the ravine into the river. And every time a car passes, you get absolutely crop dusted by this dusty road. This officially takes the cake as the worst road I've ridden on this entire trip. End of rant. After getting out of town, I got some epic tailwinds pushing me along. It was getting late and it was probably time to start looking for a place to camp. But when the tailwind is this nice, it's really hard to stop riding. That cave off in the distance looks pretty tempting. Now that is a nice boulder. This 20 kiloton rock looks like it just tumbled down the mountain during a landslide. I definitely wouldn't want to be camping in its path when it fell.
¿A dónde? Aquí. Okay, vamos.
This little girl flagged me down and told me to stop. She said she wanted to show me something. She learned young how to deal with the street dogs.
¿Qué es eso?
The two-stone method never fails.
¿Ah? ¿Pero qué es? Ah.
¿Esa es tu mochila?
Es donde guardo algunas cosas. Ven, te regalo algo. ¿Qué color te gusta?
I decided to give her a few of my cards as a little souvenir, and to thank her for protecting me from that dog.
¿De dónde estás viniendo?
De Estados Unidos.
¿Estados Unidos?
Ajá. Bueno, mucho gusto, voy a seguir. Hasta luego.
Not really sure what kind of mythical window she was talking about, but I gotta get moving and get set up for the night. This is the spot. It's getting dark and I really don't feel like riding any more uphill today. As usual, I'll take a few inconspicuous sips of my water as the cars drive past. Stealth Camping 101. Alright, coast is clear. Let's make our move. The dog spotted me. Thankfully, he's down at the bottom of this ravine, and he can't really do much. Nice flat spot, and it's kind of tucked behind the shrubbery. Even though I'm close to the road, the spot's raised up, so I'll be safe from the rain if it rains tonight. Also, the road isn't too busy, so I should be able to get a good night's rest. I'm not far from Cusco-topia now. If everything goes according to plan, I'll finally make it there tomorrow. I love waking up each day with a new view outside of my front door. Big day ahead of me today. If all goes as planned, I should be eating dinner in Cusco. Notice the train cruising through the valley. That's the same train that takes tourists to see Machu Picchu, one of the 7 wonders of the world. This is the last time I'll be cleaning up my tent for a little while. I'll spend a little bit of time off the bike exploring Cusco. The ground here was unusually hard, so the tent spikes didn't work. I had to put large stones in the corners of the tent so it wouldn't fly away. Packed up and ready to go. Let's get the pedal to the metal. Or I guess the foot to the pedal. This little dude has been tormenting me all morning. Let's give him a taste of his own medicine. He doesn't seem to be a big fan of the drone. I just had to get a little payback for the treason he and his brethren have shown me on this trip. Don't get me wrong, I like dogs. Just not ones that chase me and try to bite my leg off. I can hear it, and I can see the sign for it. I just wonder if it's drinking water. A couple just stopped me and they said they wanted to buy me lunch. I'm not too far from Cusco, but I definitely wasn't going to say no to free food. That's the car I'm going to follow to the lunch spot. I hate backtracking, but they said it was only a few minutes away, so I've made an exception. This is the delicious lunch they hooked me up with. I'm glad I decided to turn around. Chicharrón and potatoes. This was the awesome couple that got me lunch. Thanks so much. Not sure what this sauce is, but I'm gonna find out. As is tradition, whenever I get chicharrón, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway. One lucky subscriber I find today is gonna be gifted these juicy chicharrones. I've only got about 2 more hours of riding before I make it to Cusco. So now I've got a challenge. Can I find a subscriber before I get there?
¿Tú eres de aquí? Peruano. ¿Qué? Español, inglés. Where are you from?
Germany.
Ah, okay. Where are you headed?
To Lima, basically.
That's where I came from.
Ah, nice.
So, yeah, you got an awesome trip ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Met this German couple that's gonna be riding from Cusco to Lima. Basically, they're doing the exact opposite of what I just did. Unfortunately for them, they weren't subscribed. No chicharrón for you guys. I took a break in the shade of this gas station while I pedaled my way up the hill. Wait a minute. I think I might have found a subscriber. Yes, sir. They're subscribed. Here you go, buddy. Well, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Here you go, pal. No, he lost it. Now I feel bad. His brother's sitting there watching him eat. So I had to bless him too. I feel that this prize couldn't have gone to any better subscribers. Back to the shade I go.
¿A dónde viaja?
Desde Lima
¿A dónde?
hacia Cusco ahora, pero después a Bolivia, Argentina.
¿Y llanta? ¿Aguanta llanta?
Sí, es lo mismo de Lima hasta acá. Todavía está buena.
No,
No gastó.
Zapato me se acabó ya y llanta no.
No, no las uso.
No creo, ¿ah? Otro llanta será Lima, muy lejos, ¿eh?
No, es lo mismo. Esos duran mucho tiempo.
Aquí es tracción, ¿no? ¿Y tú? ¿También?
Sí, también. Dura mucho. Desde aquí hasta Cusco, ¿cuánto más subida me
14
falta?
kilómetros.
¿Pero es mucho más subida
No,
o qué
está
tal?
así nomás. Así.
Y de ahí bajada.
Baja ahí se... Llanta se va y llanta ahí se va.
Yeah, gracias.
Still got some more gifts to give out. I've got to show some love to sister as well. Well, that was meant for sister, but little bro helped himself to seconds. There we go.
Después de Cusco voy a Puno y después a Bolivia. Después Sí.
This girl saw me giving food to the dogs and decided to give me a drink and some bread.
Gracias por la bebida.
Va a buscar Dani, ¿eh?
I guess it pays to be nice. Whoa, how many of these little guys are there? I see at least 6 tails wagging. Sorry guys, that's all the chicharrón. There's no more. I didn't know there were so many of you. I hope these little gas station pups make it. Finally, after climbing to the top of the 14,000-foot Malaga Pass and camping in a frozen wasteland, I get to coast down the final hill and into Cusco. I made it. Getting here was not easy. I'm nearing the end of the Peruvian leg of the journey. With only a few hundred more miles to go until I enter into Bolivia, I should be there in a few weeks. Remember, if you want a chance to win your free chicharrón, subscribe.